Welcome to Untamed and Unfiltered Wellness, the podcast where we're tearing up the rule book of conventional wellness because one size fits all never fits anyone. I'm your host, Jo Swenson, integrative health coach, herbalist, and the CEO and founder of Olivia, a comprehensive lifestyle wellness company. Today we're talking all about gut health, and I am not here to recommend some probiotic gummy or collagen powder. We're going to dive deeper than that, and I'm not just blaming gluten and dairy. Our bodies have 3 nervous systems. Now, we hear all the time about the sympathetic nervous system, which is that fight, flight, freeze, and fawn response we have to stress. I've spoken in the past about the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the body's unconscious actions, rest, digestion, and recovery. The third one, the enteric nervous system, we don't talk about a lot. The enteric nervous system is a complex network of 100 to 500 million neurons embedded in the lining of all places, our gastrointestinal system. They are transmitting signals throughout the body, which is more than our spinal cord does. But that is why our guts are often called the second brain. So how does this work? We have something in our body called the vagus nerve. It runs from the brain all the way down to the large intestine. It's one of the longest nerves we have in our body. I like to think of it as a communication highway between the brain, the heart, the lungs, and the gut. 80% of those messages go upward from the gut to the brain. So that gut feeling that you get when something is off, that's actually a neurological response, not some made up hippy dippy stuff. Most of us don't think about our gut in that way. We just think about it as digestion. I think it's important though that we start to shift how we think about our gut, because it's not just there to process food. It's actually responding to emotions, stress, toxins, and intuition. Now, gas and bloating are not just part of getting older. It's a sign from our gut that something's going on. It's not normal to feel 6 months pregnant after eating a meal. That's a sign that your gut needs some attention, not a new pair of elastic pants, although they can be quite comfortable. Gas is normal. Constant bloating, constipation, and diarrhea, those are red flags. But let me make something clear first. Bloating is the accumulation of stress, timing, how you eat your food, or the fact that you haven't pooped in 3 days. If you're eating your food in the car or inhaling it over the sink, you're causing your own bloating. Sit down and have a meal. However, if you're consistently bloated, even hours after you're eating, or you're waking up puffy or burping like a 10-year-old boy, it's time to look deeper, because it's not always what you ate, but how your gut is breaking down the food or not. Why does this happen? Our guts have something called the microbiome. When the microbiome is in chaos, things don't go like they're supposed to. Our microbiome is made up of trillions of bacteria, viruses, and fungi living mostly in the gut. And what these microbes do is they help digest the food, regulate our immune system, synthesizes the way we absorb vitamins and nutrients, and can even impact our brain chemistry. If you think of your gut like a garden, if you starve it, poison it, or neglect it, weeds are going to take over. But if you tend to your garden or your gut, fiber-rich foods, fermented foods, give it a variety of fruits and vegetables, it will start to thrive, because our gut microbes need diversity in order to do their jobs. Everybody has a unique microbiome, which is why trendy diets don't work for everybody. If they did, we'd all be doing them. You see, 2 people can eat the same meal. One person will have a blood sugar spike and the other person won't. That's because their gut microbiome, the bacteria in their gut, is processing food differently. If you want to go keto, vegan, paleo, or carnivore, go ahead. But understand, if you don't have the gut microbiome to process these types of food, you're gonna have problems. Don't ask the question if it's a healthy diet. Ask the question if it's a healthy diet for yourself. Something else to consider. Inflammatory foods actually have a much larger effect on our bodies than sometimes we realize. I'm not just talking about junk food here. That does play a role. But for some people, healthy foods, eggs, tomatoes, wheat, oats, can actually create a firestorm in the gut depending on their microbiome and immune responses. Things like seed oil, added sugars, alcohol, or artificial sweeteners, which by the way are horrible for your gut microbiome, are all common gut disruptors. They fuel what's called dysbiosis, which is a microbial imbalance. They thin out the lining of your gut and they spike inflammation markers. If you're not sure what's causing your flare-ups, start tracking the way your body reacts to the meals that you're having. Hey, it's Joe. Quick interruption. If you've been nodding along thinking, why hasn't anybody told me this before? You need to get onto my Substack community, Olivia Bell Holistics. This is where I go deeper into the stuff I don't have time to cover here and share more resources. It's a space for people who want real support, real conversations, and real solutions. Oh, and it's totally free. The link is in the show notes. Why do I share all of this with you? It took me 20 years to figure out what was wrong with me, and it came down to my gut. You see, I had an ulcer in my early 20s. In my mid 30s, I found out I was lactose intolerant and gluten sensitive. I met with a gastroenterologist. I had colonoscopies. I did food sensitivity testing. I did food elimination diets. I tried everything. It wasn't until I got fed up and serious and started really researching and looking into things and realized it's the way my body is processing foods. Does it suck sometimes to go out to dinner and not be able to eat the appetizers that the table's eating? Yeah, it does. Sometimes I'm having this conversation because somebody's brought cookies into work. I'm not going to eat them. Not because I think that person's a bad baker, but because I know it's going to make me sick. Do I eat the cookies sometimes? Hell yeah, I do. Do I know I'm going to feel like crap for the next 24 hours? Yeah, I do. But I do it consciously. Another thing I wish I knew about was the impact hormones and the gut microbiome have. Now, if you're over 35, this is really going to apply to you if you're a woman. I started perimenopause at 43, and I didn't understand the relationship between the gut and my hormones because estrogen is metabolized in the gut by a specific collection of bacteria called the estrobolome. If they're out of balance, you end up with things like PMS, fibroids, PCOS, mood swings, and you feel like your body's betraying you. But when you're going through perimenopause and menopause, all of that's out of whack, right? Because we're losing estrogen. A lot of people will take hormone replacement therapy. I'm going to be honest with you, more research needs to be done to understand the impact that HRT has on the gut microbiome. However, one thing is clear in the research that I've done with this, you have to support overall gut health through diet and lifestyle because that is crucial for alleviating perimenopausal and menopausal symptoms. So if this is you, you really need to focus on your gut. How do we do all of this? How do we get our guts to be healthy? There's a lot of things we can do, but I'm going to break down to some easy things. One thing is start tracking your symptoms. What you eat, when you eat, what your poop is like, and how you feel. Mood-wise, are you having any skin reactions? And how's your sleep? Number 2, pay attention to your poop. I want you to look up something called the Bristol stool chart. Yes, that is a thing. You're aiming for a number 4 on the chart. I'm not going to talk more about this. Go search Bristol stool chart. Number 3, be sure to include fiber-rich foods in your meals. This is really important if you're experiencing perimenopause or menopausal symptoms or if you're suffering from constipation. But remember, low and slow. As you start introducing fiber-rich foods and you haven't been eating them regularly, your body's going to freak out a little bit. That's why you start low and slowly add it in. Number 4, stop inhaling your food. Don't assume you need to cut out things like gluten and dairy. Look at your stress, your sleep, your nervous system, how you're actually chewing your food. Number 5, supplements are not your saviors. You cannot green powder, prebiotic, probiotic your way out of this. Some of it helps, but most of it is overpriced nonsense. You can get prebiotic and probiotic benefits from food. Start with your basics. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, protein, fiber, and eat less processed garbage. Number 6, if it sounds like a miracle cure, it is. Look, I lived through SnackWells and Slim Fast. I know better. Be skeptical always. And the last thing I want to add is start looking at some herbal solutions. Chamomile, ginger, peppermint, and bitters. These are all great to help with your gas, your bloating, and calming your gut. Gut health is deep work. It's not just about the food. It's about your whole nervous system. It's about your hormones, your stress, your rhythms, your sleep, your story. If you want a guide to track your own gut symptoms, head over to the show notes or our website. I have a link to the 90-day food and symptom journal. The journal was designed to help you track food reactions alongside your energy, digestion, mood, and skin reactions. If this episode hit home for you, please share it with somebody who might need a little bit of help. And if you want more grounded, honest, no BS support, Come hang out with me on our social media accounts or at our website, olivia-bell.com. Be sure to follow this podcast and download the latest episodes. I hope you make time today for some peace, some plants, and some pause. Thank you so much for listening to Untamed and Unfiltered Wellness.